Hello and welcome everybody to episode number 25 of the Moonboy Podcast. My name is Donovan Jolly and I'm here with Dallin Anderson at High Altitude Investing. Make sure that you guys subscribe to both of our channels. Links are going to be in the description of this video. This is a podcast that we host and we upload every Sunday, so you guys can expect awesome content. This is also provided on all of the major hosting platforms for podcasts, Spotify, Google, iTunes, all of the above, so you guys can also check those out on there. Now, today we're just going to be talking about the markets in general. We've recently had a huge rise inside of the cryptocurrencies. It's been super exciting to just experience all of this. I know that me and Dallin just barely moved out to Santa Monica, and we really came out here at the perfect time as far as with crypto, because really ever since we moved out here, the markets have been exploding. We've seen a lot of coins like Aave really starting to go up, breaking all-time highs. We've seen little leg ups in a lot of the older high cap coins like Digibyte. So what do you really think has been the most exciting thing to be a part of over the last couple weeks, and what do you think that's really going to take us heading into the next 2 months?
Well, I think the coolest thing that's happened recently is Bitcoin's breakout. We've been waiting for freaking months for that breakout.
3 months, over 3 months, I think.
It was a long consolidation pattern, so it's nice to see Bitcoin carrying the market again. And yeah, I'm just excited to be out here, man. It's super cool. Last time in the cycle, I didn't even have, basically if I look back at 2016, that's basically where we're at in this cycle now. In 2016, I was sleeping in a shack and I didn't have any money at all. Yeah. And I didn't know what I was gonna do with my life. And I was kind of depressed. And so it's really cool to be part of this cycle in 2020, but to actually be living
not in a shack.
Sleeping, in a much better environment with better people, good food, exercise, a lot of sunlight, some salt water in the ocean. It's beautiful, it's cool. I'm excited because of the foundation that we have this time. That's probably, for me, the most exciting part about this entire cycle. Yeah, is just being able to start with the lessons that we learned from the last one.
Yeah, exactly. It's really looking up in so many different ways, and that's the most exciting thing for me is, the fact that this time around, I'm not living with my grandma. This time around, I'm actually out here doing my own type of thing. I have my own YouTube channel, whereas before I was just kind of in crypto learning how to trade. And that was tough because early on, I didn't know anything about trading or investing, and so to actually learn and how to do all that stuff, it was super difficult. But getting to the point now where we do have that foundation, it's taken a lot of work to get to this point, which is why, we like to share this knowledge with everybody that watches, because we want you guys to be able to profit. We want you guys to be able to do this same type of stuff that we do. And we hope that in some type of way, what we do inspires everybody to be able to go and, make these same type of changes in their own lives. Because, through cryptocurrencies, we're really starting to see the very, very, very beginning of what these profits really can turn into. And, we've been able to experience firsthand that it only takes a couple trades to really set a tone as far as your profit potential. And, a couple really good trades can make you enough. And, it's not even like you have to go all in with your entire portfolio. It's not like you have to risk an insane amount of money. Say if you would have just invested into Lend semi-early on in that bear trend, it had been in that bear trend for a long period of time. Say you would have invested just a small amount of money, you could have made 600% to a 10x return. And in that one little move, you would have been able to, if you would have put $500 in or something, most people can afford $500 worth of an investment. Even if it takes you a month or two to get to that point, most people can afford that. And, say you put that type of investment in there, you get a 10x return, that's $5,000. And say you take that $5,000 and then you only get a 2x return in the next one. That's all you really need to really be taking up and making a lot of money. And so that's the cool thing about crypto, is the fact that you could start off with smaller amounts of money. It doesn't even take $500. When I first got into these markets, I took just a few $100s and invested into Bitcoin. But just by taking these small amounts of money, we're actually able to turn this into truly life-changing amounts, and it only takes a couple right trades. And so, if you're feeling left out or you're feeling a lot of FOMO right now, just understand that really this is the beginning still, and there's a lot left to unfold. And so just understand that this is going to be still a long-term process, that we need to just focus on that and not to get too overwhelmed with the initial rallies that we've been seeing.
Yeah, to go along with what you said about Lend, I just did a percentage measurement, And if you would have bought Lend last year on Christmas and then sold today, you would have made a 3,200% gain since Christmas. So that's like 9 months, 8-9 months long. And 32 times your money in 9 months, you guys. That's crazy. And everybody was focused on this, everybody was focused on that, this distraction, that distraction. Just tune into the markets, tune into the charts, the fractals, the market cycles, because those are what's going to make you money. And what you're saying about how much energy we've put into learning this stuff, and I'm sure you have a similar experience, Donovan. What's really crazy about the Discord groups is I have people in my group that are looking at these charts, that are sharing with me what they've been learning, and they're doing stuff that took me a year and a half or 2 years to understand how to apply that concept. They're doing it within 3 weeks of joining or within the first month of joining, and they're pulling out thousands of dollars profit on a weekly basis, a regular basis, with techniques that took us a long time to learn. And so it's really cool to see in the groups you guys being able to learn in a way that is far beyond the speed that I was able to learn at.
Yeah, because there was a lot of there was a lot of mistakes that were made back in those days. I think about that a lot, and of course we got into it at a time where you couldn't really make too many mistakes. You just buy and hold and you'll just make money. But at the same time, I went into it thinking that I could just out trade the entire market, and I didn't know anything about anything at that point in my life. So I just, like, you told me about trading, that was the thing that stuck, so I figured I was going to learn how to do that, and I just got wrecked. I got chopped up so many times. I made so many dumb mistakes. I couldn't figure it out. I got, really discouraged a number of different times, but it's cool to actually see all these new people getting in, and it's nice to be able to have my own course that can teach people, because it's inspiring to know that there's other people out there that are going to be able to use my principles and use the things that other people have taught me, just all of the strategies that I've accumulated, and they're going to be able to do the same stuff, because if people had the same type of resources that we provide nowadays. When we first got into it, if we had that type of stuff, we would have saved ourselves a lot of hassle, because it was honestly such a pain. Because I remember, for me personally, when I started looking into crypto and how to trade, I started looking into Forex and looking into stock trading stuff, and it was so I was confusing. I didn't have any type of direction or base to go about looking for knowledge inside of trading or investing, so I was just picking apart bits and pieces of information and maybe completely different markets, completely different subjects, and I was trying to tie it all together, and that's really difficult, because these markets themselves in crypto are something so new and unique that we haven't seen before on this consistent of a basis. We've seen really impulsive, emotional markets, and we've seen stuff relative like this, but on this type of basis that cryptocurrency is and how much money that's flooding into this, we've never seen emotional markets to this extent onto this frequency like this. And so it's exciting that you guys, all of us, have this opportunity of just turning small amounts of money and large amounts of money, because there's people that follow us. I try and relate to a lot of people here, because we have a lot of people that follow us that are extremely wealthy, and we have a lot of people that follow us that maybe only have a few $100 invested in the market. But overall, it doesn't matter where you're at. The amount of potential that these markets have is just insane, and we've been able to see it firsthand, just how crazy it can get.
Yeah, definitely the most emotional markets in the entire world is cryptocurrency. The most FOMO. You'll see charts make the biggest candlesticks in either direction. You'll see something, you'll see a project that literally looked like it was just going sideways and it was dead and had no potential at all. And then one day you'll wake up and you'll log in to your exchange and you'll see that the 24-hour movement is like 700% gains, and there's literally just a candlestick that it was just dead, and then boom, literally just a straight up candlestick. And then you're gonna think that, oh well, that's gotta stop, and then you're gonna log in tomorrow and it will be up another 200%, and then everybody's going to be like, oh, well, this just goes up hundreds of percent every day, so it's going to do that for forever. Then they put their money in, and then they log in tomorrow and it's down 30%. So but that's why it's so profitable. That's why, you know, you really can start with basically nothing. That's why it doesn't matter what your background is, it doesn't matter what your age is, it doesn't matter what your culture is. Cryptocurrency is money that doesn't care about who you are as a person, and it can still provide that wealth that you're maybe looking for in your life. And so it doesn't, you know, crypto isn't racist. It doesn't see anything but what you're doing, what choices you're making in the markets. And those choices are when you're investing, if you're panic selling big picture, or if you're long-term laddering into massive corrections, if you're giving up on the market, or whether you're having faith in the big picture of what's going on from a cycle perspective. Those choices you make, that's the only thing crypto cares about. And that's what will be reflected in your bank accounts, in your crypto wallets, is the choices that you make. So that's why it's a perfect money, you know, because previous forms of money were centralized and controlled, so human error were involved in the distribution of that wealth, rather than, okay, this person legitimately deserves this wealth because they made the choices that were appropriate for receiving it.
Yeah. I've been buying a lot of DeFi coins. Yeah, I'm excited about all the opportunities that are spawning up from this, like the DeFi stuff. We've been seeing a ton of money flooding into that type of a market, and I've been, you know, reaching out to different sources and different friends that I've met through social media and through my channel in general, and they've been recommending me different altcoins, and I've been posting those and investing into those a little bit, and pretty much every single one of them have just been pumping. Anytime I buy a DeFi coin that's recommended to me, it's immediate profit. Specifically if I invest into it when it's dipping. If I invest into it when it's dipping, it's always immediate profit. If I buy something and FOMO into it, sometimes it's still immediate profit because they just go up so high. And so I've been really excited about all the DeFi projects, because that's going to be the big catalyst, I think, over the next few months. And I don't know how long it's going to last, most likely until the end of the cycle, but you know, I don't know if that's going to be a really big driver of a lot of value inside of this next big wave. Or what, but we're seeing it coming out, and really I think that there's going to be a lot of different things that spawn from this cycle, and it'll bring a lot of different waves of profitability, because in the last cycle there was a lot of ICOs. And so I'm curious to see if DeFi is going to be kind of that staple over the last cycle, if it's going to be, you know, potentially DeFi, because it would make sense if for the first time ever we now have financial institutions stepping into the market, and have been since 2018. And so it would make sense that, you know, the first major sector to get adoption would be the financial sector in society. And so I think that that really could be the next big phase in this bull run. And so for me, buying these DeFi coins, it's really given me a good opportunity to invest into some of this early stuff, to where I can just throw smaller investments, doesn't require a ton of risk. And you know, by buying some of this stuff early on right now, we really do have the opportunity of these 100x and 1000x returns. I mean, I think that maybe not so much at this point with how the high caps have moved, but if you would have bought some of the high caps a little bit lower, I think you still could have saw those 100x returns. But now
some of them still might.
Yeah. XRP, I got high faith in that. But you know, these lower cap coins, these DeFi coins have been buying, those are like anywhere from, you know, $1 to $10 million in market cap. And so been trying to diversify into some littler stuff that could potentially give us that 1000x return. And I think DeFi is a good move to look into, but obviously do your own research into that.
Yeah, so two things I think of when I think of DeFi is, DeFi for me is definitely taking the spotlight, is kind of what ICOs were in the last run, of like, okay, this is an ICO, or this is a smart contract those two things, anything that was smart contract and anything that was ICO, people bought. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what the project was really doing. And so those things really, really went crazy in the last cycle. So DeFi is kind of like that. So when you're buying DeFi projects, just remember that like finding like volume, liquidity, being able to get in and out of the market, those are going to be important things. But also just remember that people are going to be creating projects that aren't actually useful in any way whatsoever, and they're going to put the DeFi as like a marketing thing. They're just going to slap it on there because if they slap it on there, they know that they're going to get a bigger market share from investors. And so just be aware that there's going to be a lot of those coins that, you know, pop really, really hard that might not be good long-term investments, but do see like short-term gains, you know, like you're talking like 1 to 2, it could even go up for like 1-2 years long, but the sustainability of some of the projects will not be, just to be aware that there's going to be the projects that just throw it on there as a way to scam people.
That's really smart. I'm glad you brought that up, because most importantly about these DeFi projects is if it's anything like ICOs were in the last cycle, there's going to be so many scams, and we already know how crypto is. So many scams, and it's really hard
Fake
to kind
giveaways.
of, dude, we saw the coin, or not the, well,
Fake
the entire
ICOs.
scam giveaway that just happened, that hack on Twitter, where all of these huge Twitter accounts, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Coinbase, you know, all these major companies, Binance, these guys all got hacked, and they all posted Bitcoin giveaway scams. And so it's so crazy that we're seeing this type of stuff. And, you know, I think that with this being said, ICOs were insane in that same regard, where there was a lot of just blatant scams that were pumping and donating, or not donating, but been given so much to those projects in the initial coin offerings that, you know, they came out so filthy rich, and they stole and completely lied to investors. And so you got to understand that for this time around, because new people getting into the market, especially a full-blown bull run, they like to get married to coins. They like to get really excited about coins that they make money off of, or coins that are socially cool to make money off of, like Chainlink. We're seeing that right now. It's becoming cool to be a Link Marine on Twitter and like follow like the Link like little cult that they've built. And I don't really look at it like a cult, but it kind of is. It's like a weird little Twitter cult that spawns. There's XRP community.
Every crypto is a cult.
It's really insane.
Bitcoin is a giant cult.
They are. They all worship the almighty corn, the magical digital coins that make us rich and move us to beaches. You gotta just put your entire life savings into these digital currencies, and you know, everybody tells you that they're scams, and there's a lot of scams everywhere when you invest into them, but if you find the right ones, they're not scams, and man, you really set yourself up. But that's why you got to do your own research. And so just don't blindly get married to coins. Don't invest into any DeFi project just because it says DeFi, because you can't trust all of that stuff. For me, finding coins with legitimate partnerships, finding coins that you can have a little bit more faith into. Of course, I've been here for 4 years, so I've done a little bit more research. I feel like I know a little bit more. But for me, guys, I'm not really a fundamental investor, and so if I can figure it out, truly anybody out there can figure it out too.
Also, you guys, we trade the charts anyways, so although we're interested in DeFi projects, and if we are told a chart that is DeFi, we'll look at it, because we do know that those projects are doing really good right now because of the hype around the name. But at the end of the day, if it's a DeFi project and it just looks like it's just in a massive downtrend with no signs of reversal, then we're obviously not going to put our money into it. And so that's kind of why one of the reasons I brought it up is just because that's not our metric of determining whether we get in and out of a trade anyways. It's like a bonus point if it's a DeFi project and it's a good chart setup, because we know that the hype is there plus the pattern. Yeah,
it's actually very rare that I'll go out and just buy a coin without having like a chart. That for me, there's two sides of the coin. That's the thing that people get stuck on, is they try and pick one side. It's always like, oh no, fundamental analysis is the only way. TA is bullcrap. It's just prediction and a lot of yada yada. And then people that are in TA will say the same thing about people that are in a fundamental analysis. It's just it's one side or the other. But really, when you combine the two, for me, it's always been the most profitable, because I've been able to find a lot of profitable investments and trade setups. Because for me, I'm a position trader, and so as a position trader, I generally like to hold coins for weeks to potentially months as I let the setup mature. And so as I'm doing that, it's important for me to look into what I'm holding, because the longer you're holding on to a risky, volatile asset like cryptocurrency, the more risk is going to unfold in that given time. And so if you're holding something that doesn't really have like a useful product, it's more of a sketchy type of product, then you're susceptible to different types of things, whether it's a hack, whether it's illiquidity, whether it's some other unforeseen event that you can't predict. And then your market, unless you have a stop loss, which depending on how you're investing into the market, it might be a little bit more difficult to actually predict a lot of that stuff. And so for me, finding coins that have legit partnerships, finding coins that are somewhat proven in some ways, and then just buying those, holding those for different lengths of time depending on my trading plan, and then just making those types of profits. And so that's kind of the way that I've been doing a lot of different trading for the most part.
Yeah, that's really smart. I will say, though, that fundamental analysts are definitely of the devil, and they don't provide any value to this world. I think that fundamental analysis is just created by the Illuminati elites to spread FUD, and yeah, it's just terrible.
Never listened to a fundamental analyst. One guy was a fundamental analyst, and he accused me of stealing his chart.
No, in all honesty, though, fundamentals are really good for like an investing perspective. But obviously, at the end of the day, as an analyst, I exit because of percentage gain, target reached, market cycle. I literally could care less about the fundamentals when it comes to when I exit and when I enter my position.
Yeah, it's literally a secondary thing for me, for sure. I care about it a heck of a lot less than if I can see a chart. But that's the thing, if I find a coin that I know has good fundamentals, I will buy it if I can't pinpoint the chart. There is a time that I'll go out on a whim and I'll actually do that type of stuff. But like I did that with EOS back when it was at 50 cents, and it's not even worth that much still to this day because it's gone down a lot, but it shot up quite a bit, and I was able to make like a 30x return off of that move. And so it's just one of those experiences where you can find what works for you, and then you just wait for that opportunity. Because the more you try and force things, the more you try and make money, revenge trade, whatever it might be, these are all just little things that are going to slow you down significantly, and it's not going to help you in the long run by any means. And so you just got to really be careful. You got to make sure that you're not being dumb. And a lot of people will make dumb mistakes inside of the market. They'll piss away their money before the bull run even starts, and that's a big thing that I was trying to help with people, because I've seen it firsthand with myself. A lot of the time I'd try and get too over leveraged at the wrong time, or I'd try and get too greedy, or I'd try and just do something. It didn't really matter. I'd make a mistake and then I'd lose money, and it would always come at the worst time, right before the market would make a big move or something like that. And if I would have just had more patience, if I would have just exercised a deeper trust in the market and a deeper trust within myself that the trade will play out, the little things that we don't normally think about, we overcomplicate through our own emotional state. We'll get really excited about a trade. We'll get really emotional if we're either winning or losing. It doesn't really matter. Humans are just emotional at the end of the day. And so it's important that you just focus on being level-headed. You focus on having a plan, and you focus on capturing the majority of this trend, because right now the markets are starting to break out. A lot of people that are watching this channel have probably held losses from the bear market. You're going to see coins breaking out after long periods of holding and losses, and you're going to want to start selling. But this is where it gets really tricky, where you people that survived the bear market, you got really good at holding, But now that the market's going to go up, you're going to get overly excited about selling and taking those profits, when in actuality you want to keep holding the length of that trend. And so a lot of people are going to make that mistake. I've already seen a lot of people making that mistake. I know I've made that mistake in times past. And so it's just really important to, fine tune, focus in on these little things, because it's really these small details that make the biggest difference when it comes to making that 50 to 100x type of return.
Yeah, our neighbor knows the guy that helped develop Maker, the project, and our neighbor was telling me that there's like a whole bunch of people inside of the crypto space right now, because this is like Santa Monica, Venice. Venice has also been nicknamed Cryptocurrency Beach. Like, there's so many people out here that know about crypto. I was walking down the road the other day, or on the sidewalk next to the beach, enjoying myself, and I look over and there's this kid that was probably like, I don't know, 20 years old, talking to this girl, and he's like, oh yeah, and so cryptocurrency is going to change the world because of this. And he was talking about crypto with this girl. So you just hear stuff about crypto everywhere you look. So it's a really big topic around here. And I was talking with my neighbor, and one of the things he mentioned to me is how many people he knows, even in the space, like developers and people in the space, that still have their psychology in a bear market or burned perspective. And so they're still thinking scared money. Scared money doesn't make money, but they are scared money right now, are literally just waiting until Bitcoin reaches 14,000 or 15,000 just so they can get out at the same price that they bought at, because they don't want to see that loss. They just want the money that they put in. They don't even care anymore at this point.
Yeah.
So that's an example of giving up on the market right in the time when the opportunity is the highest, to be not only holding whatever you bought. Who cares whether you bought it 20K, 15K, 17K, 9K, 10K? Who cares where you bought your Bitcoin at if the trajectory is to a new all-time high? Why would you sell at 15K, 13K, 14K, 10K if 20K is coming, 50K is coming, 100K is coming, and who knows how high it can go past even those levels inside of this run? And it's a very few number of people. Sometimes I forget, sometimes we forget, sometimes even people in my group. A lot of, we've got such a tight circle of people that are really good, that can see beyond this stuff, that sometimes we forget that there's a lot of people out there that are still complaining about something that happened because of the pandemic, and missing what's right in front of their eyes, which is the biggest opportunity in your entire life to invest inside of the biggest revolution money has ever seen.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. We can invest in the framework of all of this stuff and make all of this money, which is constantly being given to us if we just go and take the opportunities, because it's literally just like, it's like the gold rush. It's the digital gold rush. It's like all, you just got to go find and plant your mine or whatever, I guess, and
position yourself.
Yeah, exactly, because that's the best way that we're going to be able to make this money, because it's just like little fireworks. You have these little explosions in the market, and you just got to find yourself investing in the right one at the right time, because when these things pop, you never know which one's going to go the highest. You never know what's going to happen with it, but when they do go, it's really exciting, and you can make all of that money. And I know for me, it's been an exciting experience to be here to make this money with you guys. I know that you guys can go back and watch all of my videos and see what the markets have done since my channel's been around. You can see my analysis, and really my analysis has always focused on that long term. And with that long term, it's always been the very best type of thing to focus on, because it's just the easiest. There's less risk when you can just focus in on that, and you can hold the entire length of that trend. We're seeing all of these coins starting to take off. Chainlink, I'm excited about that one. We're about to break the all-time high again and keep going up further. And so I've been a nice holder of Chainlink. I still have my margin longs open on that. I still have my margin longs opened on Cardano as well from early before the pump. That one's looking super good. There's a lot of really cool market leaders. Tezos looks pretty good. You know, really just pick your poison. Every single coin that I bought has gone up.
Yeah, there's a lot of different projects, and we've talked about this a little bit in the past, but I want to reiterate it on today, is you don't always have to invest. Yes, first of all, investing capital, smart, super smart, great time to be doing it. From a cycle perspective, from a chart perspective, looks freaking amazing, the entire market. But that's not the only way to invest in an industry. In fact, if you look at people that really change stuff in a big way, they didn't just like they didn't only put money into something. They put much more than money. They put time, they put energy, they made their connections inside of that industry. They went to meetups that were associated with that industry. They went to Consensus, as you know, a blockchain conference that they have. There's a lot of different ways that you can invest in this. It's not just money. You can invest with your time. You can be developing technologies inside of the space. You can be developing hardware, software. You can be hosting these meetups, you know, just finding people. Maybe you live in an area that doesn't have people talking about cryptocurrency on the beach, you know, on a daily basis, where it's just like kind of normal to hear about it. Mm-hmm. Maybe you live somewhere where literally there isn't a lot of people, like where we were born, mm-hmm. and you just want to connect with other people. We'll host a meetup, you know, get your friends together, get 5, 10, 20, 40, whatever. Get people together. 40 people in a room all talking about cryptocurrency. It doesn't even matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much money anybody in the room has. You get in the room with 40 people, you're all talking about something as revolutionary as cryptocurrency. You are creating wealth by just being in that room. You do that, you know, once a month all through this year and all through the next year. I guarantee that your bank account, you could start with negative 1,000, you could start with negative 100,000. Maybe you have student debt, 200,000 student debt, 100,000 student debt. You could start in debt, you could start with 1,000, doesn't matter where you're starting financially. If you do something like that, investing your time into the industry, with people, with technology, connections, you will have money in your bank account. It will be reflected because you're creating real value, doing things inside of the industry that's expanding. It will end up in your bank account because it's all just energy anyways. It's all, the money is just energy. So tap yourself into that energy, mm-hmm. and then you get the wealth as the side effect of it. Yeah. The details of exactly how you get that money is far less important than putting yourself in situations where that money is poured upon you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And the more that you branch yourself out, the more that you just try and plug yourself in with as much as you can, you know, the more that you're going to find that opportunity. And for me, that was YouTube. I really found a huge opportunity through doing this. Was finally able to, you know, what's really funny is one of the biggest reasons I started this YouTube channel was never to like really be some master and to be some expert that tells everybody else what to do. That's never what I even cared to do. What I really cared to do was be able to reach out and have people reach out to me and connect with people that were smarter than me, so that they could share with me their knowledge and I could share that knowledge back to everybody else. Because it's this cycle where for me, I knew that I was going to obtain information much better that I was learning, and I could teach if I taught it back to other people. And so you guys watching me, I was able to learn new stuff from other people, and I was able to take that knowledge and then show you guys and teach you guys about what I'd learned, and then I was able to in turn retain much more information about doing that. And so that's always one of the biggest things for me, was always to just, you know, teach other people what I was learning, talk about it, even if it's not teaching so much, just talking about what it is that you're learning about. because it's not so much about being right or wrong all the time. Obviously, my channel is a little bit more right around that type of stuff because people want to see me make right calls. They don't want to see me, making videos and getting everybody wrecked and stuff. But but it's not always the most important thing. And if you guys go and look at all those past videos, they're really good. If you go look at all those signals that have been popping off, those charts have just gone up and up and up, and so cryptocurrency is just super
I don't know,
exciting.
we might need to make a third channel where we just tell people the worst investments possible, and the whole point of the channel is to just dump
coins.
Dump coins.
We could make
everybody short this now. This coin is the worst coin ever.
I keep seeing those Zeus Capital Chainlink short ads everywhere. That company that has the massive shorts on Chainlink right now. I keep seeing their ads popping up and calling Chainlink a scam, and then posting all of these Bitcoin maximalist tweets talking about how Chainlink's a scam for these dumb reasons that don't make sense. And it's just so ridiculous that we're seeing all of this stuff. This is like exciting because we're finally leaving the boring stage of the bull market where it's just chopping back and forth, where nothing really happens. There's no news, there's no drama really. But now, we're starting to get that excitement where we had the Twitter hack, and now we have this type of stuff. And it's only going to continue to happen more with more frequency as we break out of that all-time high, because when we break out of that all-time high, it is literally game over. And that is at the point where we are going to see some crazy stuff playing out inside of the markets. Really crazy stuff. That's going to be pure euphoria, and a lot of you guys haven't been able to experience that. Maybe you guys came in at the top of the cycle, but you don't know what pure euphoria feels like unless you came in at the ground floor, because that's the only way to truly experience how crazy it really gets.
Bro, everybody called Ethereum a scam the entire bull run in 2017. Because it's beneficial, it's profitable to scare people away from stuff, first of all. And people need to know that, like, somebody makes money if they're telling you not to buy something that is going crazy high in value. There's value that they can create through the manipulation of the words that they're saying. So when I think about Chainlink, it's cool to see the controversy of people trying to call something like Chainlink a scam, or making YouTube ads about it. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
That tells me that this is the bull run, because because it's moving so much that there's always going to be the people that either hate the project, legitimately believe it's a scam because they're just crazy, or they're trying to manipulate the market or whatever. All of that is good, like net good for the industry as a whole. I don't think that you should be worried about your Chainlink investment just because some crappy YouTube ad is telling you that it's a scam. Instead, you should look at the chart and be like, oh, this is going up and up in value. My investment is good. My gains are good. The trend is strong, very early, very powerful, established trend. Let's ride this out. And let's let everybody believe what they want to believe. Let's let everybody get stuck on the long Reddit posts about this hack that happened. Let everybody absorb themselves in their dramas. Because you can't help them. You can't go engulf your own sanity in their insanity and expect to stay sane. Like, all you can do as a person is to continually ground yourself in what makes you money, what allows you to focus inside of the markets, what removes your fog, and then you have an opportunity to share that with other people.
Wow. Profound. Quite the revelation.
So buy Chainlink, big picture, guys.
Chainlink, praise the Chainlink gods and all of the Link Marines for continuing this push towards $100 and beyond, because I love Chainlink. I'm excited about Chainlink. I really am. I think it possesses so much power. Well, less power and empowerment. That's a more important word to say, because what it does is it connects everything from the digital to the non-digital as far as data goes. We can now transfer all of that data to blockchains, and that's really, really revolutionary because, you know, all of this stuff is so, you know, different. And that's what one thing that I've been getting into recently is Polkadot, and I've been telling you about this recently. And what I learned about from Polkadot, so Polkadot is a new system, and a lot of big players are actually building cryptos on, well, less of building their own cryptos on there and more investing into cryptos that are being built on there. And it's a big ecosystem, kind of like Ethereum. But the real difference between it is it's kind of like plug and play blockchains, where like if you were to build a ClickFunnels or build like a website or something, nowadays the websites are so easily run to where, you know, if you want to, you know, use want to add like a logo or you want to add like an effect, you just kind of like click a template and put it over. Nowadays, through Polkadot, we're actually having a blockchain ecosystem that's much more user-friendly in that regard, where you can kind of like, you know, just drag and drop different effects, and then you can have that into your blockchain. And so it's making it more accessible to other people. And I really like this because it was kind of simplifying a lot of this stuff, and it's showing that we're kind of moving towards this different direction. And so Polkadot's one that I've been watching, and kind of the way that like Chainlink worked was it allowed you know, interoperability between you know, centralized servers and then decentralized as far as data transfer. We can now transfer all of that data on centralized to decentralized servers. And so what Polkadot is doing is basically creating interoperability between blockchains built inside of that ecosystem, to where blockchains are actually going to be able to use Polkadot kind of as that middleware, and they're going to be able to, you know, talk to blockchain within that ecosystem. And so, and anybody that wants to plug in and use Polkadot could do it the same way. They have bridges to Ethereum. They're working on bridges to other cryptos. It's not with every single one of them, but it kind of goes to show that we're building this infrastructure and it's growing out to a bigger audience. And that's one of my big plays. That's where I've been buying a lot of these new DeFi coins, actually, is that are being developed on this Polkadot ecosystem. And so, you know, Edgeware was one of them, PCX was one of them. There's a few others that I honestly can't remember, but I've been investing into those because I feel as if, you know, these types of newer projects that are coming up are going to see a lot of benefit. And I've had a lot of really good sources that have been reputable in times past for giving me solid calls, reach out and let me know about them. And so I think that those are something to look out for. So look out for Polkadot. That's going to be my big play, Polkadot and all of the different chains that are actually being built on Polkadot. So just check that out.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think that if we are going to develop a million different blockchains, and a lot of these blockchains have their own programming language instead of traditional languages like C++, there's just a lot of new stuff being developed. And if everything becomes like so specialized to the point that it can't function with other things, then it's not going to be a network. It's going to be just a mess. Yeah, and so integration of these different chains, I think, is going to be really cool. And yeah, man, it's just cool crypto is the honeypot that never stops giving. It just keeps filling up, filling up and pouring over, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I feel that as a species, it's going to lead to a lot of optimization and allow us to just do things in a better way.
Wow, well said, buddy.
No, for real though, like we have all of these ideas. The humans have solutions to basically every single problem that you can think of right now. If you can think of a problem, somebody's thought of a solution. But the thing is like the good solution might be over here in some other country in a different language, and we don't even realize, and then this country over here actually has the resources and the infrastructure to apply that solution that this guy over here in Russia thought of or whatever. And so with the internet, we've started to have that intermingling effect, but with cryptocurrency, with AI, with fast translations of languages, like Google Translate, this is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where, oh, the solution for this problem connects with the people that have the infrastructure to make it happen. Now we make it happen. Bam, our oceans are cleaner. We have a more sustainable world. Like, bam, less people are starving. We have a more sustainable world. Just whatever it is that we can do, if we work together as a species, it will really work out for us well. And fixing money is the best thing for us to fix, because if we start with that fundamental thing that was the source of all war and basically all of the suffering that we've seen up until this point in humanity, if we can get to the root of the problem, which is financial, it's resource-based, then we can really start to think about how we can allocate these resources, how we can look at each other, how we can feel about each other, the things that we say to each other, the way that we behave to each other, the technologies that we use, the efficiency, the optimization, and bring it all together in a way that is sustainable and does make sense for our species for you know, forever, for as big of a foreseeable future as the human mind can imagine.
Yep, well said. Well, buy crypto, invest, get rich. When you get rich, you have more money. When you have more money, you know, you can do more things. You can give to more people. When you give to more people are happy. When more people are happy, you know, life is better. There's more wealth, there's more abundance. There's more abundance, there's more prosperity, and when there's more prosperity, there's more freedom, which is everything that everybody wants at the end of the day. So, you know, check out these cryptos. Make sure that you guys subscribe to both of our channels. Check out Dallin's channel. Links will all be in the description. Check out my channel as well. And you guys will also be able to find us, once again, if you want to, would rather just listen to the audio. You can find this podcast on all of the major streaming platforms. Yeah, guys, it's really looking super exciting. I'm definitely just thankful to have you guys here, because, you know, we're starting to see what we've really been talking about for a super long time, and to be at the forefront of this, it's inspiring to not only because I've experienced it firsthand before, but it's more inspiring because, you know, you guys are here to do the same thing, and so we're thankful to have you here. Very blessed each and every day to have everybody that just shows us this support and all of the, you know, kind messages that we receive from you guys. It's really nice to have all of that support on our backs, and we're just ready to see you guys, you know, make the world of it.
Yep, it's gonna be quite the world too. So,
always.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
As always.
Stay profitable out
Peace
there.
out. Oh.